Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Pipe Bomb Sessions. This week, we are full steam ahead after the go home show on Raw with full steam ahead to Clash at Paris. Things are going to get very interesting very quickly. We see the Clash card is mostly shaped up. I think, I don't know if we're going to get another match added. I do have a few, gripes on some matches that did not get added for some odd reason into the card, which I'm just honestly more in shock about than anything else. Like, how come a guy like AJ Styles is still competing on European grounds, but why is he not actually at Clash of Paris, the PLE? Last time the French crowd made AJ Styles and just the whole moment phenomenal, to say the least, guys. That was awesome. That was cool. I'm a little disappointed that Styles and Dom's IC title match is going to be happening on Raw next week. Still from Paris, so can't complain. But still, why not just throw this match onto the card? I don't get what the whole issue with that would have been. Same with the whole U.S. title match. It's Solo versus Sammy on the go home show of SmackDown. Again, I'm just a little thrown off by the fact that WWE would do that rather than, you got these two matches, you want to throw them on the card, you might as well throw them. The French crowd is going to go crazy regardless. They were all hyped up at Backlash last year. I don't understand why not take advantage of that and basically just, keep it going. But okay. That's interesting to me. Another thing we saw happen on SmackDown was the fact that we saw the Viper, Randy Orton, return. It's always good to see Randy Orton back. We saw Drew, talking a little bit of smack against Cody Rhodes. We haven't seen Cody since Drew took him out. And that resulted in the Viper returning, delivering an RKO out of nowhere as usual against Drew McIntyre. And I'm not sure if that's going to be setting up a match for them in the near future one-on-one now. Maybe that's a match that gets added to the PLE, and that's why other matches were added. Again, I'm not really sure how I feel about this whole 5-match format WWE's been doing for a good portion of the year. I don't get it. Why not give us more? I hope they do give us more going forward, especially because we'll be paying $30 a month for ESPN, right? So why are we only getting a very bare minimum, in my opinion? We gotta get more matches, we gotta get more content and all that stuff when it comes to PLEs. That's the whole point of the PLE, right? I don't know. That's just me. Just some developing stories, I think. One of them is, when the hell is Melo gonna turn on Miz? Because Miz, again, this week, they got the win, but Miz took the victory out of Melo's hands. Melo clearly wanted that win for his team. And I think this is where finally Carmelo Hayes is now getting involved again. He is now getting some screen time, and maybe, they're like, hey, we're going to break you up with The Miz. Possibly, maybe that match I mentioned earlier, Sami Zayn ends up becoming U.S. champ. Carmelo Hayes is a guy who might take it off him. You never know. Maybe that's the direction that they want to go right now. Obviously, we had a few other matches going on, and we saw the return of Damian Priest real quick, when, of course, R-Truth apparently took the wrong flight to the wrong destination, and so he sent Damian Priest out there for him. Him and Aleister Black, seems like their feud's going to be continuing since they brawled a little bit. Maybe that's a matchup that gets added to Clash at Paris. I would not be against that. I think Aleister Black is just the guy to be on a PLE, especially over with that crowd. I think that would be great. However, you never know how these things turn up, right? Someone who's turned up a few more times than I think a lot of us would have liked is Nia Jax in the women's world title picture again against Tiffany Stratton. Nothing against Nia, but we've seen this match happen 3 or 4 times now. Are we gonna get? Are we gonna move forward a little bit, or what's happening with this? Does Tiffany really just not have any other people to face? I feel like this is now becoming very blatant and very, very much of a problem. And SmackDown definitely needs a shakeup faster than ever. SmackDown needs a shakeup on the women's side. Raw needs a shakeup on the tag team division side for the men's. So I can see a lot of moving pieces happening right after Clash. I think I'm not the only one who's waiting for this quote unquote WWE draft that was supposed to be taking place. We haven't heard anything about it. So who really knows if it's still going to take place? I think that's a bigger and more major issue than anything else. But anyways, right? Let's move on to what happened on the Go Home show of Raw. Raw, of course, Roman Reigns opened up. Him and Bronson had some words. Then they brawled. Bronson Reigns stood tall until, later the night before the main event. Roman wanted a little bit more piece of Bronson again. And so, again, Roman Reigns now stood tall. And, I actually found that interesting that Roman Reigns not only got the best of Bronson Reed once, but twice on that Raw episode. I don't know. Does that mean that we are looking towards a Bronson Reed upset? Question mark? I don't know, man. Anyways, the Judgment Day had a little bit of a segment where we see Finn Balor asking JD McDonough, where's Dirty Dom at? We see him talking to El Grande Americano. I feel like maybe they're trying to integrate El Grande Americano and his three other guys with the Judgment Day group, and possibly maybe that's somewhat of a feud. Maybe Dirty Dom doesn't feel like he's getting the help that he should be getting from his Judgment Day partners and looking for outside help. I mean, we've seen him try to recruit outside help before for the Judgment Day, and Balor has shut it down. But it's still happened. It's still been there. You never know. Maybe that's what's setting it up. Of course, we saw when Adam Pearce made the Dirty Dom vs. Styles match for the IC title next week official. We saw you, Balor, laughing in the backgrounds, basically a ha-ha moment, like, hey, you're gonna lose that title, and I would not be surprised if Balor is the reason why Dom loses that title next week. Quote-unquote accidental help for AJ Styles. Hey, would not be surprised by that whatsoever. And I'm looking forward to it. Another kind of tag team and just drama that's been going on is the Kabuki Warriors and Io Sky. Obviously, they don't like that Rhea keeps coming into their business. They don't like that Io and Rhea are friends. And on top of that, Asuka told Rhea to stay out of their business. And she saw both of them talking and hugging in the backstage area, even though that's what Rhea was telling Io Sky anyways, that she thinks that she should stay out of their business just because that might be the smarter thing to do. And of course, Asuka flipped out afterwards. Io comes out to help Rhea after her match, and again, Asuka's not happy. She's like, this is leading to a clear blow up of the three of them. I don't know if we're gonna get a matchup with Rhea and Asuka first. That leads to the tag team matchup possibly. I can see them kind of doing it that route. I'm not against this whole Rhea and Io teaming up. They need something to do. We're keeping them alive and well on TV this way. Boom, that's cool with me. Let's see. Maybe this is all a momentum push for the next women's champ for Raw. Obviously, again, congrats to Naomi. Last week announced she's pregnant and gonna have a baby, but there's no women's champ. And obviously, Stephanie Vaquer is gonna find out next week who her opponent's gonna be. She's still number one contender. So Pierce said that he's gonna have someone lined up for her next week. Let's see how it goes down. And of course, we now switch gears into the main event of Raw, which was Braun Breaker, LA Knight. Rollins comes out, of course, and then you have Jay come out, Punk come out. They get for they make the heels run off a little bit, start arguing with each other. LA Knight and Punk kind of push each other around. Punk gives LA Knight the GTS, and then Punk also takes a super kick from Jay, because, of course, right before this, Jay said, do not trust Punk. You do not want to trust him. Why do you need to help everybody? Even Roman said Jay helped him the most, and he knows that. So now it's all about Jay. Worry about everybody else later. Worry about yourself first. That's basically the message Roman Reigns, the OTC, is telling his cousin. And maybe that's the momentum that he needs, right? You never know. So I think this was interesting. Let's see what happens on the Go Home show of SmackDown this week. I do believe these might be the final. These might be the final matches for Clash. Maybe they add one more, as I said earlier, but I'm not really sure. Now, based off some of these matches, I don't know, man. Of course, Logan Paul and John Cena hyped us up with their promo last week on SmackDown, which is good. I think that was needed for their matchup. A lot of people, including myself, were not really happy with that matchup. I don't know why, like Logan Paul or how Logan Paul kind of got in the mix of the farewell tour, but okay. I think John Cena does win that matchup. I originally said that I thought Cena's gonna win, then Lesnar's gonna come out again, leave Cena laying, and that's gonna lead up into their matchup at WrestlePalooza. I still do think that their matchup happens at WrestlePalooza. It's gonna main event. I just don't know if Lesnar's gonna show up in Paris. Will it be hyped and will the crowd go crazy? Absolutely. But maybe that is the plan, to have just, Logan Paul put Cena through a good matchup. Cena ends up winning. Lesnar comes out again, and maybe they just have a face-off. Possibly he gives Cena the F5 again. Let's see what happens, right? A matchup that I think actually is going to be pretty well fought is the Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella Women's IC title match. The IC title, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, has been doing phenomenal TV time-wise, and they've been pushing that title through the roof. I wish I could say the same for the Women's US title. I don't understand why that went into purgatory, basically. Like, Julia's a good superstar. She's a great fighter. Like, let's get her out there and get her some exposure instead of just having her sit in the sidelines, right? So, in my opinion, switching gears back to Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella, I think, so they can go 2 rounds. They could let Nikki take the title right here. Have then their feud kind of keep going forward, have Becky take it back, or Becky could go become the women's champion. That's what I'm thinking. Like, what if they made Becky lose so that she become the world champ? Or she versus Stephanie, that happens, and Stephanie or her become the champion. I don't know. It's like very, very, I think this is a very weird matchup just because of what's happening in the Raw's division on SmackDown, on Raw. So I'm gonna go with actually a retain here. I know I'm saying that, Becky, I just don't know if they'll throw her into the main title picture immediately. Becky Lynch retaining again continues her path of freaking stardom, basically, with the Women's IC Championship, and she goes through just another opponent, in my opinion. A match that I've been looking forward to, honestly, is the Donnybrook match between Sheamus and Rusev. They're gonna beat the shit out of each other, guys, and I can't wait. This is their 4th matchup, I believe. I'm hearing this might be the final matchup. Hopefully it's not. I did want to see it go to 7 somehow or another, but I don't know if they're gonna do it again. Let's see how it goes. If it does go to 7, awesome. Like, why not? But if this is the final matchup, maybe they beat the hell out of each other. They gain some kind of mutual respect for each other. Again, I was saying one more time, Raw needs tag teams on the men's side. Maybe they team up. Maybe that is the move anyways. Because they're just trying to prove who's better against each other. There's not real, I feel like, animosity between these guys, except for the fact that, hey, I better, you suck. No, you suck, I better. That's really what it is. And I'm cool with it. Feel like they've been putting up good matches so far. And speaking of 2 guys who actually, I think, may put up a pretty decent matchup, and this is where an upset alert happens. I mean, it might be Bronson Reed's time to really get a W and shine. It's him versus Roman Reigns. I do think Bronson Reed here has a shot. Believe it or not, I truthfully think Bronson Reed may actually end up beating and upsetting Roman Reigns, or Roman beats him, then gets beaten down after the match, because he still has a Street Fighter movie to do, guys. He still has to go away for a little bit to take care of that before he can return again. So it's like, okay, when's it gonna happen? And like, we know he's gonna get taken out. Question is when. So maybe, I'm gonna go with the upset alert here with Bronson Reed actually getting the upset on Roman, and then continuing his basically his beatdown of Roman Reigns after the match, and basically try to take out the OTC one, maybe. I think that could be an interesting move. It would elevate Bronson Reed in the group as well. Of course, we've seen a lot of Braun Breaker, and we see how hyped he is, but maybe getting a little bit more Bronson Reed is not a bad thing either. And that leads to our main event, I assume. Jey Uso versus CM Punk versus LA Knight versus the champ, Seth freaking Rollins, leader of the Vision. Now, will this matchup be great? Yes. Will this matchup have a lot of chaos? Yes. I think this matchup actually leads to other feuds coming out for the opponents between each other. One of them, as I said previously a couple weeks ago, is going to be LA Knight versus CM Punk feud. I think going forward, I definitely see that coming. You never know. Maybe that is the plan anyways, right? So I'm not against it. We saw Jay kind of take these guys out. I don't know what Jay's direction is going to be going forward. I just hope that Rollins will go in as champ, and he will leave that stadium as champ, in my opinion. I don't think there's any doubt. There's no doubt in my mind that Rollins will not be retaining. I think it's too early for him to lose that title. He needs to stay in control for just a little bit longer, honestly, guys. Like, he just got that title. He just did the cash-in, so let's have Rollins be set up for success, how I like to say, right? Now, before we wrap up today's episode, I wanted to touch base on a few things that I keep hearing. One of those things is that, as I'm sure a lot of you know, we're getting a possible return of Y2J Chris Jericho. Oh my goodness. If Chris Jericho returns, I'm telling you, a lot of fans, including myself, are going to go wild. I think that's something that's not expected. We were not looking at that and seeing that coming. Jericho is obviously hinting at it, teasing it, so it's a very, very large possibility. Of course, people at AEW also are saying that they don't expect Jericho to return after his contract's expired. So, Y2J, Chris Jericho, I will see you at the Royal Rumble next year, my guy. I can't wait to see your music hit, the countdown happen. That would be lit, and let's get it going. I know he's a little bit older, guys, but hey, the hype's still there, and like maybe he can have one last good run, right, with WWE. Put up a few young stars and go that route. Another thing I did want to mention is I'm hearing that the Wyatt Six are going to start a feud soon with the MFT, and it's gonna pan out for several weeks. I'm predicting that like maybe this is one of the War Games matchups, possibly. But then, I don't know how many War Games matchups they're having. Obviously, War Games is a little bit far away, so maybe they don't start to shoot up until maybe like mid-September, a week or 2 weeks after, what do you call it? The Clash of Paris PLE this weekend. Possibly Solo retains, and that's what leads further down the line for the Wyatt Six to get involved. I think both groups have their flaws as well as their strengths. Maybe mixing them up is a good idea to like kind of get them all involved, TV time, and like, you know, let's not forget what kind of gets people going, right? Like good matchups. Of course, the tag team divisions and factions are good. Let's see how this feud is going to go. I'm not really sure myself even how it's going to go, so I don't know. Yeah, so I think that's what I got for Clash at Paris. Some things that I heard going on in the future. Of course, we're going to see eventually at some point or another we're gonna see, just like how we're having the Royal Rumble happen in Saudi, we're gonna see a WrestleMania, possibly even 2027. I heard, guys, going to Saudi, maybe even two manias. I'm hearing. I don't know why they would do that. Possibly because that would be very, very confusing. So if you're gonna go to Saudi and do WrestleMania, just do one. Like, I don't know, don't make it complicated. It might get complex, more complex than even we can understand as fans. But hey, I'm looking forward to how WWE is gonna pan out going into their fall and winter season. Usually this is the season where things kind of get ramped up because they know, hey, we gotta get feuds to end and wrap up and get new feuds kind of riled up because, hey, next thing you know, we're going to be in December and then we're going to be ramping up for WrestleMania season and Royal Rumble's around the corner. So, boom. It's going to be just like that, quick as that, as always, guys. Hey, I appreciate you guys tuning in this week, as always. Appreciate all the love you guys gave. Just wanted to give a shout out. This is our 25th episode, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate everyone who's followed, liked, and subscribes. Please continue showing that love and helping us out. We really do appreciate it. And I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys.